the Throwback Thursday songs, top 5 songs right now on Desmond Mason's Throwback Thursday song list.
2-1 and Lewis.
So this is number 1, right?
Yeah, this is a big one.
For now. This is number 1 for now.
For now.
It always changes. It's always changing. It's like the Billboard charts.
When the beginning of this starts with the regulators.
So good. Mount up.
How can you not get hype when you hear that?
Oh, man.
Can I tell you a dirty little secret?
Was this a song that you tore your ACL to? This is it, isn't it? I can totally see you dancing.
No, this is before that. I mean, I was like 12 or 13 when this came out. I remember this like it was yesterday, watching MTV, having the VCR ready to go so I could press record when they played this video. Because I wanted to press record, play it, so I could play the video whenever I wanted. How backwards is that? Who does that now? You want to talk about how far we've come?
I actually got up this morning and was flipping through channels, and MTV was playing music videos.
Get out of here.
I swear. And I thought, this is just like childhood. I'm getting dressed with music videos playing on my TV.
No way. I don't believe it.
Yes, they played music videos.
It's like MTV3 or something like
No,
that.
it was MTV.
MTV Jams plays videos all day long.
You had it on MTV Jam.
No. It was regular MTV.
That's good, though.
I heard
I don't believe it. I won't
Talk
believe
Dirty to Me. I saw that video. The one with Time of Our Lives with Pitbull and Neo.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the This Is How We Do with Katy Perry. Lips Are Moving by Meghan Trainor. I mean, what music videos? What are those anymore? It's funny the funny thing is,
look at a music video.
At the MTV Video Awards, they still give out best video. Like, people watch the videos anymore.
Right, exactly. It's like nobody watches that.
Yeah, that's probably the case. All right, so I want you to save your 5. Okay,
I got them. They're good.
We'll do it in the next segment. That's a bit of a tease for all of our music lovers out there.
And we get a song a segment, right? And that was Desmond's for this segment.
That's right.
That's cool.
I'm going to do a song Todd, you do a song to open the next segment.
Okay.
I'll do one to open the final segment with Des.
Save the best for last. I get to go last. Always.
No, it's just I didn't want to tell you. I want you to have time. I want you to have time to pull it up. Holy moly.
Remember that sensitive thing I was telling you about? We were we were talking about who are you?
Yeah.
Has he made you call him Big Easy yet?
Here we go. This is one of his other made-up stories, Des. One of his other made-up stories.
Somebody gave him that nickname, right?
Yeah, of
he
course.
gave himself that nickname.
No, I didn't. I didn't get.
Just set that one up.
Did you play with anyone that gave themselves a nickname?
Yeah.
And was it a bad one or?
No, I think
they
you
were all
said
really
this.
good.
I think you said this before.
Yeah, like Gilbert Arenas, he called himself the Hibachi. And Kobe, like Black Mamba.
Black Mama. I mean, get out of here with
they
Black
all
Mamba.
kind of.
Well, it's better. No offense, Desmond, but it's better than just nicknames that are nothing but initials. Like, we're not original with nicknames anymore. It's CP3, CB4,
KD.
Yeah.
KD.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like nicknames.
D Mace. Again, no offense.
Real nicknames.
See, and again, don't let him fool you. This is just
You
one
like
of these
Chocolate
things.
Thunder. And
This is one of his things he's been carrying on forever. He tries to make up these rumors about me. I have not started my own nickname. The people who listen to this show know that, but he still tries to carry on this little rumor that I started my own nickname. I didn't.
He also doesn't like you to call him by his real name. He wants to go by. It'd be like if you saw Magic Johnson and you called him Irvin. He'd be like, "Shut up, it's Magic."
My name's not.
You call me Magic and you like it.
Don't be calling me by my government.
That's right. Only my mama can call me Irvin.
He looked like a Crash. Like your nickname would be Crash.
Crash? Crash.
Hey, Crash, what you doing tonight, man?
I'm interested now. Now you've got me interested. What nickname do I look like? Text it in. If you know what I look like.
Crash.
Text it in 88474.
It's Crash.
Well, I look like my nickname that I had in high school. I promise you that. Tank.
Tank.
Was my
I would give
nickname
you a
in high
Tank.
school.
Absolutely.
Tank's good.
Tank and Crash.
See, I like Tank. Tank's good.
And I may
Crash is
have given
all right, I
myself
guess.
that
Crash is
nickname in
good.
high school.
You probably did.
I didn't. That was in high school. When I was a little leaguer, they called me the big gun on the basketball team. Because I was the only kid that was big enough to get the ball to the rim from the three-point line.
The big guy.
So we're down by 3. It's like, put the fat kid out there. Let him chuck it at the rim.
Now into the game. Tank.
Yeah, it's just Tank. There's
Tank, Lisenbee.
Yeah, just like Nene. Like just
That's
Tank.
exactly right. Madonna.
All right. I want to talk Thunder, but I want to do this first because I'm very interested in this. And I teased it. This is the number one thing I hate about sports these days, Des. I hate that, and we've talked about this, I hate that we can't have honesty in sports. Like, why can't we have, whenever you're pissed at a coach or pissed at a teammate or whenever you're just mad about something, maybe you just had a bad day like Kevin Durant did. I enjoy his honesty. We talked all about that, during the All-Star break. Kara says my name should be Fester. Kara Rice.
Oh, Uncle Fester.
Anyway.
Crash.
We don't get it. We don't get it in sports. But we got a little bit of it last night. But this is the one thing I hate Carlisle here having to skirt around it. I know he has to, so it's not necessarily, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. But I love how the reporter, you don't see this very often, the reporter keeps on pushing. So this is good audio right here. Listen to this here. This is beautiful. By the way, this is after, I want to make sure I say this. This is after Rondo got pulled from the game. Did you know about this?
No.
Okay. Let me set this up for people who don't know. Rondo is walking up the court with the ball. Carlisle's calling out a play. Rondo is not acknowledging as he walks past Carlisle. He is not acknowledging Carlisle's call of a play. He's just walking right on by, doing his own thing, calling his own number. Carlisle just calls timeout right in the middle of it. Calls timeout. Goes back. They start chirping at each other. Rondo basically, I guess he popped off a little too much. Carlisle goes, "Is that right?" Sits him for the rest of the game. They were down when Rondo left against the Raptors. They come back and win.
Yeah.
Without Rondo. Okay. So he gets asked about it. Carlisle gets asked about it in the post game, and this is how that went.
There was an exchange, and then in my mind, it was over.
Is that difference of opinion regarding play calling?
I'm not going to get into that. But in my mind, once it was over, it was over.
Was it that coach's decision made for basketball reasons or disciplinary reasons?
It was made because I'm the coach, and that was the decision that I made at the time. Now, how many other ways do you want me to answer the same question?
One, you haven't answered it yet.
And then awkward silence ensued. But that was, I love the reporter saying once, you haven't answered it yet. He keeps on trying to ask him and he won't answer it. But that's what gets me, I get upset about Rick Carlisle. He can't be honest. You know what I mean? I can't stand it.
Well, a lot of times, too, coaches don't want to throw their players under the bus. There's a lot of things that happen in the locker room that you keep in the locker room, or if there's a issue between player coach, if it's addressed at that moment, whether it be right there in front of everyone, as opposed to someone like the coach going, okay, well, go sit down then. Or if it's addressed in the media, what can happen is it can become a bigger problem than what it really is. It'll linger for a while because players and coaches and players, whenever they get into controversy, we always know a lot of it happens in the heat of the game and you eventually move on. But it can be blown up to something much bigger outside of that if it's not understood correctly. So I can see how he was trying to avoid getting too deep into it. He didn't want to throw Rondo under the bus with what he may have said. He didn't want to say, well, yeah, I did it because he called me this or he talked back or he wouldn't do, X, Y, and Z. It can be, it's offensive to the player that he kind of called him out in public as opposed to pulling him to the side in the coach's office and saying something. So I can see where his side is, but, I agree. I like the reporter kind of getting after him a little bit. It was like, by the way, you ain't answered the question.
By the way, here's my stat of the day. You want to take a stab at the number of free throws Rondo has made in 2015?
In 2015, let's go with 6.
3. Can you believe that, man?
Yeah. How many have he shot, though?
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. I mean, dear Lord. He probably shot 10 knowing his free throw percentage. But, my gosh, that's just amazing. But anyway, it got me thinking about, as I kind of switch it over to the Thunder here, it's pretty amazing. I mean, say what you want about the coaching of Scott Brooks, and I know that there's opinions all over the place. But there is never, I mean, it's kind of amazing that there's never been a public spat between coach and player for anybody in the NBA when you've been at the same place for 7 years, right? I mean, like, look at Doc Rivers and Rondo might be the key denominator there, but Doc Rivers and Rondo coming to blows. I mean, Kobe and fill in the blank, you know?
Yeah. Well, like, I'll say this. When that trade happened, I told him, I'm like, it's only a matter to everybody talk about how much better does this make Dallas? How much? I'm like, listen, it's not coincidence that everyone says the same thing about Rondo. You don't know who you're going to get. One day he's one guy, next day he's another guy. Same thing on the floor. Eventually, he's going to get comfortable, and once he's comfortable is when he's going to start doing his whole Rondo thing. He's been doing it since he's been in the NBA. All of the guys that have played with him have said the exact same thing. He's really hard to play with and hard to coach. And you're starting to see some of those things come up in Dallas, but not all coaches have that mentality. Nate McMillan was a ex-player, and Nate was a tough player and a hard-nosed player. So he would fight his players. I mean, you know, he played with Gary, he played with Vin. So if it got down to it, yeah, he'll get in your face. Larry Kostoviak, he was the same way when I was in Milwaukee. Terry Porter, exact same way. These are all players, though. I think some of the other guys that I gotta say, for instance, PJ Carlisle, man, he may get after you, but you know, it takes a young player that's with attitude to really react to PJ. PJ's not gonna go way public on you. You're talking about Sprewell. Most of those coaches, they just would rather deal with it in the locker room. You know, Paul Westphal, same way. Rather deal with it in the locker room in the coach's office as opposed to deal with it publicly. So,
but my thing is, don't you think Carlisle's tried to deal with it? Like, it's interesting that if I'm under the assumption that they've tried to figure it out in the locker room and it still gets to this point, that to me is impressive that some coaches, it never gets out. Like, that you know there's spats behind the scenes. You know there are, almost with every team. But with a couple coaches, it never happens.
Well, but the point is like, you know, again, I've played with coaches where they would rather not blast their players in front of everyone, because you're not just blasting them in the media. I mean, it's your own fan base as well that you're basically throwing the guy under the bus. For instance, George Karl would basically blast any and everybody. Didn't care. Media, public, he did not care. But when him and Tim Thomas started getting into it, and he blasted Tim Thomas, George Karl was the kind of the fan favorite in Milwaukee. He was the coach. Everybody loved him. When he blasted Tim Thomas, the fan base turned on Tim Thomas. Now, Tim was guilty of some things, but the fan base turned on Tim Thomas, and George was saying how lazy he was and X, Y, and Z. And before you know it, Tim goes out and shoots 5 for 15. They're booing him in Milwaukee, and they hadn't booed any player. You know, so if you do that to your players, it can shift everything. Not just
it can cause a.
I mean, it is a massive ripple effect once you go there with a player. You don't just take that player off. Outside media, outside of your market, picks up on it. The league as a whole, your fan base, so on and so forth, and it just becomes this massive ripple effect. So coaches are very careful when they do that.
I also want to do something socially with you and with Todd, the kind of a social angle with this Derrick Rose thing. Like, well, let me do. I'll do your. I'll get the bad stuff out of the way first. Y'all's advanced metrics that I know you guys are all about. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
Do you accept these advanced stats right here? That with Derrick Rose on the Bulls, the advanced stats have Chicago as a 52-win team. And without Rose, they have the Bulls, those same measurements have the Bulls as a 51-win team. That there's only one win difference. Would you consider that accurate just by watching?
I mean,
or close to it?
It kind of depends on which Rose you get. You know, it depends on if he's a healthy Derrick Rose that's playing aggressive, or if he's playing at 75 or 80% because he's being pressured into getting back on the floor, not just by his camp, but the organization and his own mentals. If he's healthy, those stats are ridiculous, you know, but, you know, at least a gap of them. I don't know how many wins, but that gap is much bigger if he's healthy. If he's kind of out there just playing at 70, 80%, then, yeah, that's probably about right. Well, it's probably going to hurt the team as much as he's going to help him with taking the shots.
I wonder, I mean, has he, ever since he's won his MVP, has he been 100%?
No. One, he got scrutinized the next year for sitting out and saying he wanted to be 100%, and everybody got after him, and, you know, everyone was after him. Then I think he rushed it and came back. He got in the gym quicker, but he came back and he looked okay. He did the same thing, I think, in coming back in his injury, and this is what Kevin Durant has to look out for. Different types of injuries, but, you have to look at coming back early and making sure you're healthy. That's what Brandon Roy did. Ended his career. It was like a plaguing injury ongoing, and before you know it, he eventually had to retire way too early. And Derrick Rose is facing those same types of things, and if you don't monitor it and do it the right way and just say, you know what, I'm not going to live by everybody else's standards. I need to be 100% and confident in my head and in my body that I can play at top tier. If you don't, you're going to hurt yourself again. It's going to be just an ongoing thing.
How much of having a long NBA career like you had is strictly just luck? Not getting injured.
Some of it is. I never really got injured. Like I said, my biggest injury was a hyperextension that I had when I played here with Oklahoma City. Outside of that, I had like a small thumb surgery, got caught in the jersey, and like just partially tore a ligament. And then just ankle sprains. Like nothing outside of ankle sprain or, elbow in the face. But I never had an ACL tear, MCL tear. I never had any of that kind of stuff, And so I was very fortunate in that realm. But I can say I took care of my body. I got rest. I ate well. I didn't party. I took care of myself. So I think that played a big part of it as well.
Desmond Mason with us here on 107.7 The Franchise. I'm watching PTI yesterday, and Wilbon is genuinely sad about Derrick Rose, and he's from Chicago and all that stuff. Well, he was acting like, of course, to the point where Kornheiser is giving condolences to Wilbon at the end of PTI, like, I'm very sorry, and Wilbon's like, tough day around here, man, tough day. He's in Chicago doing the show, and Wilbon's talking about how all of Chicago, like, adores Derrick Rose, and on the outside, it's just, that's amazing to me. Now, part of it might be that he's from there, originally,
hometown,
but are you just immune to give me the scenario. If you're not fed up, if you're a Chicago Bulls fan and you're not fed up with Derrick Rose and the amount of injuries that he has on the regular, at what point do you get fed up with him? What scenario do I have to put out there for you to be fed up with your hometown boy?
Listen, I'll say this. With the amount of medical, personnel that professional franchises have, the amount of technology and doctors that are engaged, the time and money and effort spent keeping a guy healthy, making a guy get healthy, especially when it's an injury, like an injury, a true injury. Now, you can't make guys take care of their bodies from the standpoint of eating and resting in that. But when it's a true injury, and I don't know how much of this I can actually put on Derrick Rose. I mean, his body's going to react the way it has to react. And he's a young guy, so his body is betraying him. I see him, either that or they're pushing him to come back too early, which I think is probably the issue, or it's not the right choice. He's not getting proper treatment.
Well, too early. I mean, Des, he was out for a whole year.
He was out for a year. I mean, he was out for a year. That was a bad injury. But still, like, how many times did they test him? Did they need him? Did they want him to get him on the floor? Hey, move lateral. Let's see if you can do it. What are you going to do in the summertime when it's off season? We need you back at the beginning of the season. Like, you still push guys. It doesn't matter. You still push guys to get them back as soon as possible. And even with that injury where he was out for the season, they still were trying to talk about if they make the playoffs, he'll be back. And it's like, who says that? No, he's out for the year. Let's treat it that way. Same thing with Paul George. He's out. Treat it that way. Make sure when he comes back, this never happens again. And if he keeps having these repetitive injuries like this, especially to the same areas, they're pushing him to come back too early.
Is he a bust?
He's MVP. He can't be a bust. Can't be the MVP and be a bust. You can be Kwame Brown and be a bust.
I mean, he makes $30,000 per minute played.
Well, but he unfortunately had a really bad injury. That doesn't make him a bust, though. I think a bust is a guy that has this great expectation and never get remotely close.
He
to
had never met it. Yeah.
He was an MVP of the NBA.
Right. Yeah. I guess Rose did meet it. I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know if there's a good answer to this, but who else gets that sort of immunity in sports, where they can be injured, like serious knee injuries, 3 times, and that city is cool,
Kobe.
still adores him.
Kobe.
Well, it didn't take long.
Is he? I don't know if he's on the list. Like not right now. Like
Dwayne Wade.
Listen, Kobe's doing talk shows, and no one's saying, and LA's not going crazy.
We do have some sound of that too. I want to play before it's all said and done today.
He's doing talk shows.
He's doing Jimmy Kimmel during the middle of the season.
But I mean, if that happened to Dwayne Wade, Miami would still love him. It happened to Dirk.
It has.
Yeah,
I mean, most of Dwayne
Not
Wade's.
quite the level of Rose, but yeah, it's happened. If that happened to Dirk, Dallas would still love him.
But you're saying no one would turn on him like
No.
we got to move on.
I think if you go back to Dwayne Wade's career and look at how many, and he's played through some injuries, but just look how many times if you have him take off his jersey and his shorts, he is literally like a quarterback. He is covered with underpads. I mean, all the way down to his socks. Pads. I mean, they're everywhere because he's always injured. He's falling, he's getting hit, he's getting bumped. And people talked about that early in his career, how hard he fell all the time. So he's had a lot of injuries in his career. But yeah, I think Derrick will be one of those guys. Another guy that's gotten injured a lot and, no one's really turned on him. People kind of like he's a little soft, but no one's ever really turned on him was Vince Carter. Like when Vince Carter falls down, you think somebody sniped him a couple times from the top deck.
I guess the qualifier would have to be you haven't won a title for your team either. Because all the guys we're naming off have won titles. Except for Rose. Kobe, Dirk, Wade, that gives you immunity, right? But what about for guys who hadn't won a title yet?
I think if they re-sign
what about
Rose,
Durant? What about Durant?
I think if they re-sign Rose to a big contract.
Well, it's a max. He's on a max right now.
I know, but it's something that was signed before his knee injuries, right?
He was signed when he was MVP.
Yeah, I mean, if they re-signed him now to some exorbitant contract and he still had injury issues, then I think people would start to get upset.
They would get upset.
And you've even heard a few Laker fans be upset that Kobe took so much money.
Yeah. Well, they won't. I think the fans of LA, they're upset that it handcuffed the team. It doesn't give them flexibility to go out.
So they're not mad at Kobe. They're mad at the Lakers.
Well, they're mad at the Lakers, and they're mad at Kobe for not doing what Tim Duncan did.
So they can't. So maybe Kobe's not immune.
Well, but that's we're talking about injuries. Now we're talking about money.
Right. But if you mix the two together, that could be It could be oil and vinegar right there.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
maybe
a stew.
It could be a little bit of a stew. It could be a little. Well,
Kobe stew.
What was I had? Let me throw this hypothetical at you. Would this be enough for Chicago fans to turn on Derrick Rose if he comes back? Because like you said, they're saying, well, 6 weeks he might be able to return. Okay, let's say that word gets out, and this would be terrible if it did, but word gets out, Rose is ready. And they're heading to the playoffs, and Rose says, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
They go turn on him then? I think that might be it.
They will, but this is, I mean, again, I just think it's really the organization did him an injustice.
You're right.
When they announced that he would be back, he would be that big one.
PR.
It was horrible PR, and it put him in such a bad position because he knew he wasn't ready, but they came out and said that he would be back and playing, and so again, they should take a page out of and I think Oklahoma City learned this when they dealt with Russell Westbrook because it was fresh off that Derrick Rose situation. You keep your mouth shut until you know 100%. You give yourself a bigger window. Mm-hmm. So when they come back quicker, everybody's clapping. But you knew ahead of time that I need this window. If I say 6 to 8 weeks, let's go 10 to 12. Give yourself a better window.
We are 20 minutes away from I Tell You What, man. We're going to do that again. 20 minutes. So get them in now. Text them in. 88474. Make sure you type in the word text first and then a space and then do your own I Tell You What, man. And if you don't know what the game is, you'll learn pretty in 20 minutes. You will learn. At Big Easy, at Todd on Franchise, at D Mason Art, and the Throwback Thursday song list right now from Desmond Mason. Coming up next.
Boom.
The Zach McCrite Show with Todd Lisenbee on Oklahoma's new sound for sports, 107.7. The Franchise.
This is Todd's Throwback Thursday selection. Scale of 1 to 10 here, Des. What you got?
Coach, come on, man. That's a 10.
That's a 10?
I love California.
Mine is not going to be a 10, but that's okay. I don't.
Mad Max video theme. So good.
It's a 10 for me, though. Mine coming up in the beginning of the next segment. We probably need some music underneath this. Some sort of maybe throw Regulate
I
back
couldn't
on or
decide whether to
something.
go with California Love or this one. You know what this is, don't you?
Sometime?
No?
Oh, okay.
This is the other one I thought about, too.
Summertime starts out like that, too, a lot of the talking.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think you're foreshadowing. I think you may be foreshadowing, which is amazing. All right. So we got some music going on in the background. So this is, and you can go 5 to 1. Do you have the 5?
I have my 5. I don't. Do I have to have them in order? I put them in order.
No, you don't have to have more.
Yeah, I have my 5 though.
Okay, throw them out.
Okay, here we go. Let me get to
Top 5
So I
throwback.
reach for my 40.
Leave that music on. This will be the Dez top 5 current top 5 throwback Thursday songs playlist for Desmond Mason. Let's go.
I'm going all genres because I listened to all music
Really?
growing up. Absolutely. So let's go. My first one. This is not in particular order. "Song for Life" by Alan Jackson. Great song. Alan Jackson, my favorite country. Well, outside
Can
of
you
George
pull
Strait.
up that?
I love Alan Jackson.
Alan
Can
Jackson
you pull up
is the
Song
man.
for Life? Or here, I'll pull
I
it
got
up.
every album. Every album.
Do you really?
Yes, I
My
do.
favorite is probably, what's the one about this bar stool is getting higher? She's got the rhythm and I got the blues.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
my favorite
Yeah.
Alan Jackson song.
Oh, you got a song. Hey, I see you pulling up "Song for Life"
Yeah,
over there. You want me-
because I don't know.
It is so good.
By the title, I don't know it. I'm
It's
sure
so
if I
good. Are you
hear
gonna
it,
play
I'll
it?
know
Oh,
yeah, I'm
man.
gonna play it. I'm
might-
waiting for the.
I
ad
might
to
close
come
my
out.
eyes and sing. Such a good song. I used to listen to it in college in
Now
my dorm
I'm a
room.
big G.
So good.
Alan Jackson was a weird looking fellow.
He was good though.
He had that mullet under the.
Mullet and the stash.
Don't drink as much as I used to
Okay, I know the song.
lately.
I know the song.
All right, what's your next?
All right, my next one. "Time to Say Goodbye," Andrea Bocelli, the blind Italian tenor. I used to paint to that every single day.
All right, I have no idea what that song
Oh,
is.
yeah, don't worry about it. My next one is "Champagne Supernova" by Oasis.
Oh, wow. That's in your throwback, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. My R&B hit is "One Sweet Day" by Boyz II
Oh, I
Men.
love One Sweet Day. That's a good
So
song. And Mariah
many
Carey.
nights.
Yeah, absolutely,
Mariah Carey.
absolutely. And my,
And I don't need to feel alone.
and my hip hop is I'm a Texas guy. Ghetto Boys, Mind Playing Tricks on Me. That is it.
Yes, that's a good
That
one.
is it. That I listened to every single one of those this morning at some point in time.
Did you really? All this morning?
Once I put my list together, I listened to them all.
Wow.
Make sure I had the right. My mind playing tricks on me.
Who's your country artist,
Now
Todd?
I was Alan Jackson and Randy Travis are the ones I listen to most.
John
growing
Michael
up.
Montgomery too. Can't be about him.
Oh, yeah. Now so the
I have
Grundy County
I have a
auction
party
song.
story with John Michael.
The Grundy County auction song is one of my karaoke go-tos. The ladies love it when you can hit.
Can you please do that on air?
The karaoke.
I'm sold to the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10. I know she's got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and now I'm about to bid my heart goodbye.
Yeah,
That's
all
good
right.
stuff.
All right.
Man, that took me back too. I love that one.
Congratulations.
Devil
on
Went
that.
Down to Georgia.
Now the underrated
Devil Down Georgia
Oasis
Go.
song. We talked about Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova, but this one, Don't Look Back in Anger,
Yes.
is very underrated.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find
Not bad.
a better place to play?
I've always said if I did the total early 20s sing and got a song lyric tattooed on me, it would be that.
This is an
Slip
awesome.
inside the eye of your mind and
This-
you might find a better place to play.
This is an awesome song.
You know Oasis.
Todd, I think you need to take that advice every once in a while.
Oasis,
You're so negative.
huge Manchester City supporters.
Ah,
Oh, here we go.
They are like they are the Jack Nicholson of Manchester City.
I knew there's a reason they
Gallagher
fell apart.
brothers.
I knew that was the reason that they fell out.
Here we go.
God, it's a good song.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. My country artist was Garth Brooks. Was always Garth
Oh, he's
Brooks.
the man.
I love Garth.
Pause for the chorus.
There you go. Pump your fist.
All right, I want to do this with you while and my Throwback Thursday song of the week will be coming up as we turn to the next segment. It was foreshadowed already. I can't believe that happened. But anyway, I would like to do a little bit of a hypothetical with you that Todd and I already did before you came in this morning. Mm-hmm. You're familiar, obviously, with the kiss cam that comes on at these games.
Yes.
The hypothetical here involves you having to play the part of the woman. Okay? So think about that.
Okay.
You've been dating a guy for about a year. You think you're in love. He's starting to throw the marriage card out there. What do you think? And you're going, look, I love you, but I'm just not ready for marriage quite yet. And he's like, come on, we can do it. And over a couple of months, as you're hovering around a year of a relationship, he throws it out there a couple of times, and you just kind of, try to push it back a little further, all that stuff. So let's say a couple weeks go by, he doesn't say anything. You go to a Thunder game, kiss cam, he sets it up, boom, you are on camera, and he is down on one knee. What's your answer?
Every woman in that situation will say yes.
You don't think there's one that would say no?
Unless there's like something really harsh going on in their relationship, no, I don't think no woman's going to say no in front of 20,000 people on the camera. I think she's going to say yes, and then if she didn't really want to do it, she's going to be pissed afterwards and probably it'll go away. She's going to say yes in that moment.
So you say 100%?
99. Yeah, let's just say 99.
Todd, what's your percentage?
I've never seen a no. Put it away.
Percentage?
Yeah,
we didn't do percentage.
No either. And the ones that people send us videos of, this person said no, that's fake.
I think those are staged. Yeah.
Most of those are staged. I would say more like, you said 99, Desmond?
Yeah.
I'd say, 99, because I've probably seen about 100, and I don't think I've seen anyone say no.
Right. 99 is probably right. 99 is probably right. I said I think what you were getting at. Now, Todd says if it were him, he would just say no on camera, and that's just how he is. And I'm like, no. I mean, at least for me, I would say yes in the moment, and then the minute we walked out to that concourse, the answer would flip to no.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. Let's just say you're section 107, center section. He zips around. He asks you right there. You mean to tell me you're going to say no? That means the game's over for both of you guys.
Oh, yeah. You're out of the arena.
So you're going to get up as the whole entire row gets up as well. Somebody's probably crying. Somebody's probably pissed. And you're all just going to slowly, excuse me, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry. Out of the arena? No. She's going to say yes, and she'll deal with it later. Every single time.
I think so, too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Me and you are on there on that one. I think Todd takes a different route. But you're going to make, my whole point of that is you're going to make more of it if you say no than if you just say yes and then do the no later.
On a scale
You'll make so much more of a big deal out of it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst possible way, is proposing on the big screen at a sporting event a 10?
I think it's horrible. I would never.
So it's close to a 10 then.
I think it's lame, yeah.
You got a worse way to propose? Can you think of one?
How'd you propose, Desmond?
Ooh, good question.
In the Bahamas, and it was just there was nobody around. It was just
us.
Don't
you mean
see
you didn't
me.
have like friends hiding in the bushes?
Nobody.
Filming it?
We went on
Taking
vacation.
pictures?
For those who don't know, because I didn't explain this earlier, Des, we had a couple go with us on vacation. They knew that I was going to pop the question on this particular vacation. So they hid behind some lifeguard shacks on the beach and took pictures of me and her when we did it. And he objects to this as being corny.
It's a bit much, isn't it? Shouldn't that be a personal moment for you and the lady?
We've got record of it. I enjoy the fact that we've got record of it.
The record should be in the noggin, not on Instagram.
I'm not posting it on social media or anything, but...
I'll tell you another lame way.
Wait a minute, another? You're saying mine was lame?
No, we were talking about the lame before.
I think that's what he's saying, Zach.
No, we were talking about lame ways, and you brought up that.
What are you trying to say, Mason? What are you trying to say?
if they did. Anyway, moving on to the other laneway.
He does. He thinks mine's douchey.
I don't think.
He totally does.
I would never say douchey to being from your proposal situation.
Oh, God.
And back to laneways. So I think another one is like, this is hard for me to even say because I'm a romantic. But I think like the over romantic, like, okay, well, we're going to fly to Paris and stand out in front in our scarves and peacoats in front of the Eiffel Tower. And I'm going to get down on one knee and like relive all that. I mean, like that to me is so overdid. Yeah. So lame. So, it's just too much.
What if you did rose petals in your house?
Hey, listen.
You've done some rose petals.
I would never.
Oh, no?
Yeah. Lame. Be more creative. Like it's not a romantic
I've
comedy.
never done rose petals.
I think it's lame. Or like a dozen roses. That's another one. I've said this over and over and over again. One rose. Keep it simple. One rose. Not like 2 dozen red roses. Like, where you gonna put all these things? No way. One rose.
Can I make I am going to make a bit of a confession here.
I can't believe the website I just found with you on it, Zach.
What? I don't even know what you're going to say.
During the commercial break, come in here, Desmond. I'll show you a picture of Zach's proposal.
Oh, gosh, it's on the internet?
Yes.
That's not. Uh-oh.
Come on, in some big, long story by Zach about how they were engaged.
Oh, that was the wedding website. That was the wedding website.
I got it.
Another lame situation, like if you're on a wedding website.
No. This is like, I know, but this is where they...
That is lame.
What's
you
up?
have a wedding website?
Is it ido.com?
No, this is McCriteFamily.com.
This is...
www.
I'm tweeting the link right now.
ido.org.
I'm tweeting the link right now.
Is it a .org or .net?
That is where the wife sent people to for people to register. Like that's where they.
Oh, really?
Did you build
Yes.
you built a registry website?
No, she did.
Let me just read you this.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Get out. I'm out of here.
You can click on our proposal. And it says when it happened. It's got the date. It's got a picture of it. And then Zach's written like
I did
18 paragraphs.
She asked me to. I did.
You told me it was all her. You just said it was all her.
No. She made the website. I did. No, I did. Though.
Obviously, you knew the website was being made. If you objected to the website, then you probably should have said it.
No, I didn't object to the website. Whatever she wanted to do, I was in love. I was in love.
.org. That's so good.
How red is my face right now? All right.
Beats.
Change the subject. We do. I tell you what, man.
I just tweeted out the link. If you follow me at Todd on franchise, you'll see the link to Zach's wedding website.
The wedding
Desmond,
website.
you got to check this out during the wedding.
I tell you what, man, is coming up next, hopefully, very soon on the franchise. Yes.
Now back to Zach McCrite and Todd Lisenbee on Oklahoma's new sound for sports, 107.7 The Franchise.
This is mine right now. This is the first one that came to mind for now. I think it was because right when we were talking about it, I was about 10 minutes from walking out into the cold. 5 degrees outside.
We all need to hear it.
So, my Throwback Thursday song this week is Summertime. This is basically the only song. Yes, can anybody think of another one that we really give credit for the Fresh Prince, for Will Smith? Is there another one?
What's that song about Miami?
Before he was the Fresh Prince, or Miami, just the two of us.
No, while he was the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, just the two of us. Miami.
We don't give him credit for those.
By the way, if you hear that noise, that's Desmond working.
Yeah, Des is working on his piece here. Yeah. No, that's I love that. That's part of it.
What's the other one he did too?
Okay, that's awesome. Miami.
Yeah, there was another one too.
I'm not going to be looking up the Will Smith discography. Sorry. So people are on my side on this.
Yeah, I don't think so. We probably need to get right to this.
Rick on Twitter, genius getting photos of proposal. Haters gonna hate.
Horns Down in O-Town tweets us. He says, Des just described word for word my brother's proposal. Peacoat scarfs, Paris in front of the tower.
Oh, my. That would be terrible.
Sorry, brother.
That would be terrible. All right, you want to get into this, Todd? Let's do it. Let's do some tell you what, man.
I tell you what, man, sometimes you just got to let the people know something random.
I like to eat ice cream, and I really enjoy a nice pair of slacks.
I tell you what, man, Bill Belichick looks a lot like my brother.
Hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the Lord of the Rings.
Like, OMG, that's so random.
It's time for I'll Tell You What, Man.
Getting jiggy with it. People are tweeting me. That's the other Will Smith song.
Yeah. All right, maybe he did have more than I thought.
Getting jiggy with it had the brilliant lyric of Gotta Prada, bag with a lot of stuff in it.
Jeremy on Twitter says, what about Parents Just Don't Understand by Fresh Prince? Yeah, again, that one goes, I don't think he puts that anywhere near the top of his proudest moments. That's not a great song.
Yeah, that was a garbage song.
All right. Who wants to go first today on I Tell You What, Man?
First.
All right, go ahead.
I'll tell you what, man.
I love it.
Personal wedding websites are a little questionable.
A little?
They got a good look at that website. God, I thought we took that down.
How we got engaged. Well, where do I begin?
Once upon a time.
First, it's tough to surprise your girlfriend with a proposal when you've been dating her for over 6 years.
Four scores
That's
and
true.
7 years
That's
ago.
true. That is very true. Hey, look, that was the one part I had to write. The rest of that thing, that's all. Where the wedding is, all that stuff for all the guests and where we're registered, that's all her. All right?
I'll tell you what, man. Sometimes when you're wearing jeans and people can't see your socks, wearing the really thin, like sheer dress socks is really comfortable with tennis shoes.
I agree.
Really?
Totally agree.
Like the really expensive, really nice dress socks. Slide right into the shoe. Feels like your foot's got some wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
Very comfy.
I'm about that. It's a good one.
I tell you what, man. Last second flights are not as expensive as I thought they were. I just had to do that. I got to take a flight next week or tomorrow. I got to fly tomorrow. I bought it yesterday. Now, I will say.
Where are you going to the beach? You need me to go hide for you and take pictures?
Hide in the bushes.
No.
Hey, be sure you get that sunset when I kiss my wife.
The re-proposal wedding.
It's a one-way ticket. No.
After hearing about you today, if I was your wife, I'd give you a one-way ticket too.
Well, she's the one who told me to do it.
It should have been her first clue that you were not a keeper.
but this is the first time. I can't believe it's the first time. But it's the first time it's happened where I have a friend who, they had their dad passed away, and I've got to I've always been able to drive to things like that, and this time I can't. So I get on there. Now I am flying out of Dallas. That was the bummer deal. So I'm flying out of Dallas, and I got it for $285.
We also missed
Dallas to Louisville.
We also missed for Will Smith, Men in Black and Wild Wild West. Both those movies, he sang the title tune to them.
Yeah, that's right.
Here come the Men in Black.
Wow, Will Smith has a better song history than I thought.
Yeah.
He is the pit bull, but he actually sings.
I tell you what,
songs
man.
You don't realize he's in.
I tell you what, man. Blueberry cake donuts are really, really good.
Yep.
The only donut is the blueberry cake donut.
No, that's not true.
Yes. The cake donut is way better than the glazed donut. Can we go there first?
I'm with you on that one.
Yes.
No.
And the blueberry cake donut,
No.
the sour cream cake donut's pretty good too.
Are you guys averse to custard? I mean, you have to have a custard-filled donut.
I'm a texture guy. It's kind of gross.
Come on. You don't like custard?
Bavarian
to me,
cream's
custard,
all right.
custard donuts and personal marriage websites are kind of on the same plane.
They're both really lame.
All right,
I'll
let's
tell you
go.
what, man. If guys have sensitive skins in their armpits, you need to give Secret women's deodorant a try.
Really?
It works and it lasts a long, long time.
That's so
Really?
true.
I recommend Ooh La La Lavender. If you have to go with any of the scents.
Problem is, you're not joking.
I'm not. No, it really works. Desmond, I guarantee you Desmond played with guys that use women's deodorant.
I have though. I can't do like alcohol deodorant, like deodorant that has high alcohol, like Right Guard and all.
Yep,
that.
me too.
I'm a Right Guard guy.
Burn me up.
Right Guard Sport, baby.
That burns me up.
I could use like
If they want to
Old Spice
send
for
free
one
product,
day.
I'm more than happy
Right
to
Guard
accept.
Sport is kind of like it's in the same area as Custard Field Donuts and personal marriage website.
This likes nothing about me. He's learned so much. He's been turned off.
I think you're awesome.
Let's
Rasheed
hear
Wallace wore Secret, by the way.
Let's hear from the big voice guy. Does the big voice guy have one today? Let's see what we got here.
I'll tell you what, man. There's really nothing better than a projection-style television and peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
All right. Very good. Projection style TV and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Some coming in on the
Anybody
text.
disagree with that?
I'm cool with that.
I don't know if I'm in on the projection screen. Peanut butter and jelly, I'm all in. But projection screen, I don't know. I think we're past projection screen.
I think so too.
Someone texts in. I'll tell you what, man.
That kind of goes in there with wedding websites, custard filled donuts. Go ahead. What do you
Someone
got?
texts in. I'll tell you what, man. Desmond really thinks Zach's proposal was douchey.
Yep. Calvin on Twitter. I tell you what, man. That Big Easy, dude. That's all.
Weird.
Dude. What else? What else you got on there?
I tell you what, man. MC Hammer couldn't really dance.
Oh, I disagree.
He made up some things that nobody did, but I don't think he could dance. I've watched a couple videos over and over.
I'll tell you
was
what,
pretty
I
good.
tried to emulate that for like 2 years after he did that stuff in his Zubas.
Now Usher and Michael Jackson,
Oh,
Chris
can I
Brown,
say this?
those guys can dance.
Let me do this. I tell you what, man. Nobody ever believes me, but if I could be reincarnated as anybody in the world, it'd be Usher.
Usher's the man.
You can
Usher?
You can sing.
Usher.
Yeah, except why does he do that?
Oh, kills me.
Why does he do that?
I don't know.
He just throws an extra R in his name for no reason.
I don't know, Zach. Why do you make everyone call you Big Easy?
Or it's like worse. You wash your clothes, worse. No.
Yeah.
And
My
worse.
grandpa says that in Washington.
Washington.
What the hell's that all about?
That's exactly right. Onion. Can I get some onions on that?
But
burger?
that guy can dance. He can sing. He's got great looks.
How do you say oil?
He probably, he makes out with 5 women per night. Period.
How do you say oil, Zach?
Oil?
Desmond?
Oil.
My grandpa, it's oil.
Oil.
There is no I.
Oil.
O-L-L.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Jared on Twitter. I tell you what, man. I may not sleep Friday night when season 3 of House of Cards comes out. Hashtag binge watching. I am going to be watching that. In fact, I'll be on a plane Friday and I'll be watching that on the plane. No doubt about it. Are you into House of Cards?
No, I'm in Empire right now.
Boardwalk Empire, or
No,
is it just called Empire?
It's called
I haven't seen
It's
that.
good.
I'm into How to Get Away with Murder.
I haven't
catching
seen
up
that.
on Homeland too. I gotta go catching up on Homeland.
Homeland, I've gotten through 2 seasons, but I'm behind.
I'll tell you what, man, from Brandon on Twitter. Big Easy, more like Big Cheesy.
That's so good.
All right.
You don't like that at all.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Hey, I have opened up my soul to everyone.
I tell you what, man.
There you go.
Quarter length socks suck.
Oh,
Take it all the way to the top,
or all the way.
keep them low.
I'm
I
with you.
totally agree
Those
with that.
middle ones with the ribs.
In fact,
worst ever.
You know what I do? Like anymore, I don't care how cold it is. I've totally gone to the ankle sock.
I'm right there with you. Same.
I'm
No,
just-
you can't
I'm
go
over it.
ankle socks. You got to go no show. I mean,
Well,
No
these are.
show's
I'm
good, too.
kind of
Depends
basically
on my
right there.
Depends on shoe to no show. I
Hey,
think
yeah, you don't want to rub your heel up.
but
against-
if you're wearing
shoe.
like jeans, there is something to having long socks. Like it feels nice under the jeans every now and again, especially when it's cold like today. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, man. Everyone should go buy a pair of soccer socks. Those are the best to wear under jeans on cold days. They go all the way up to the knee and they stay in place.
I tell you what, man, I have a pair of long knit, I guess you could say, soccer socks that I wear sometimes as dress socks. I mean, they go all like past the calf. All right, well,
I like
that'll
I tell
do
you
it.
what, man. I tell you what,
You
man,
like
it's
I tell you
fun.
what, man?
It's always good. Makes
Yeah.
you think.
Thank you, Irvin Johnnie.
Yes, thank you, Urban Johnny.
daddy.
That's right. Thank you, Urban Johnny. All right, we'll send out another picture, an update of Dez's piece. It's coming right along here.
It's coming along. It's gonna be nice. Really abstract.
I like this
And
one.
if you missed it, the link to Zach's wedding website is also on Twitter, @ToddOnFranchise. You'll find it there.
I tell you what, man. Before we leave, Kim Kardashian annoys me.